Hello everyone. So this is part 2 of Rob Nixon's Environmentalism and Post-colonialism. In the last part, I would have explained you the importance of literature, in environmental studies. And today I am going to explain you what makes Rob Nixon to write this particular theory, this particular work, Environmentalism and Post-colonialism. So, the issue that made Nixon to think on environmentalism was the essay by J. Parini, entitled The Greening of Humanity. He was impressed reading that particular book. It appeared in the New York Times magazine. Here, Parini has described the importance of environmentalism in humanities, especially in literature. At the end of the essay, he named some 25 writers and critics whose work was central to this environmental studies boom. So these writers and critics were Americans. Now see, environmental issue is global in scale. So we cannot claim that one country's practice have no impact on neighboring ecosystems. Environmental issue is not only the problem of Europe or Asia or Russia. It is a global issue and every state has every right to protect its territory. But what Rob Nixon says is, despite all these measures, the case with once colonized countries suffer in the post-colonial era because of the American foreign policy, which plays direct role in the local election, especially in Nigeria. Now he gives an example here, the example of Ken Saro-Wiwa. He is a Nigerian writer, television producer, environmental activist, and winner of the Right Livelihood Award for exemplary courage in striving non-violently for civil, economical, and environmental rights. So he's a world-renowned man, a famous person. He is also a member of the Ogoni people, an ethnic minority in Nigeria. Now see, that delta has been targeted for crude oil extraction since the 1950s and which has suffered extreme environmental damage from decades of indiscriminate petroleum waste dumping. So this is what was happening in Nigeria and it was witnessed by Saro-Wiwa. And as you know, he is already an environmental activist. So what he did, he led a non-violent campaign against environmental degradation of the land and waters of Ogoni land, by the operation of the multinational petroleum industry. So what he did was right. When you look on Parini's pamphlet, this is what he says: greening the humanities. And here somebody, from an African country, he is having a camp, to protect his place. So there is nothing wrong in it. But what is the sad part here? The sad part is Saro-Wiwa had been denied entry to Ogoni land because he held such campaign. And on the day of murder, there was a murder of some Ogoni chief, and that blame was shifted on Saro-Wiwa. And on that particular day when he was murdered, he was not allowed in the Ogoni land. It was crystal clear, but still he was arrested and accused of incitement to them. He denied the charges. Saro-Wiwa denied, but he was imprisoned for a year before being found guilty, and he was sentenced to death by a specially convened tribunal. And later it was declared that he is the first martyr of environmentalism. See how absurd it is. The same happened to the 8 other MOSOP, the name of the team, leaders who along with Saro-Wiwa became known as the Ogoni 9. So same thing had happened with any other black writers. So this is quite biased. As I said earlier, nobody can say that if you cannot claim that one's country's practice has no impact on neighboring ecosystem. So if one part of the world is affected, and of course in due time it affects the entire part of the world. That was the result of tsunami. That is what the result today we have, the global warming, the climatic changes, okay, terrible tornado, storm, so many things are taking place, forest fire. These all are the outcome of it is all because of our fault. We didn't bother about our nature. So just keeping America safe and destroying Africa is not going to bring a solution to it, okay? Some other way it is going to affect the whole entirely. This is what Rob Nixon is trying to say, okay? So finally you can see that the environmental issue is a global issue, okay? Just by writing and conducting conference and meeting, conducting meeting by white and denying that to the black or anybody else is purely hypocrisy. It has no meaning. So what he says is, in this post-colonial era where the foreigners have left the country, but still they seem to be the dictators of the country they oppress in the past. So Rob Nixon finally in his essay says that how eco-criticism aims to show how the work of writers concerned about the environmental study can solve the pressing ecological concerns. Literature has its role to voice out the issue. Literature departments are likely to remain influential players in the greening of the humanity. So in this situation, he believes that literature department can do marvel, okay, they can reach the young minds, and thereby we can expect, okay, a change in the coming generation, and they will have in their heart to protect or save their nature. So this is what he says about environmentalism, how it is a big issue, big threat to the humankind, and how post-colonialism, okay, affects, right, directly and indirectly in its path of progress. Okay, thank you.